everyone, this is Ben Foggets Media Corner back again with a brand new AK After a Soul review episode for 2021, which this is going to be actually a double movie review, AK After a Soul, for these two films I saw last year in 2021, which these two films were released by DreamWorks Animation, in which these two films are actually sequels. So for today I'm here to talk to you guys about both Spirit Untamed and the Boss Baby 2 Family Business. So let's kick off with Spirit Untamed. So this was released last year, and this is a sequel to the 2002 film Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, and this is also sort of like a reboot spin-off of sorts to the Netflix series, which I've never really watched, but I mostly know the 2002 movie though. But anyway, so in Spirit Untamed, in the sequel, we follow this young girl named, which her nickname in this film is known as Lucky, voiced by Isabel Merced, or Isabella Mona, whatever you want to call her, who you may know her as the live-action Dora in the live-action Dora movie, Dora and the Lost City of Gold, in which she moves to a small town, and she then, later on in the movie, she meets this horse she names him Spirit, and they both bond a friendship together, and they embark on a massive journey adventure together, basically embark on an adventure of friendship together. So that's pretty much the short and simple story of Spirit Untamed. Now, I do like the first one. I did enjoy the first Spirit movie. I think Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron is a pretty good DreamWorks animated film that's not fully 3D CGI. It's CGI that we get nowadays from DreamWorks Animation, because while they have done a few 2D hand-drawn animation in the past, the Prince of Egypt, which is easily the best, the Road to El Dorado, which I've never seen, still want to, and they've made Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, which I haven't seen, and they made the first Spirit, which I do think, like I said, is a really good movie and kind of a bit underrated really, because I don't think much people talk about that. I never really watched it as a kid. A few of my friends have watched it as when they were kids, but I watched it for the first time when I started getting into films and all that. And since then, I do think it is really underrated, really. And I didn't even know there was going to be a sequel to this. Although I know there was I already did know there was a Netflix series of this, which I've never really watched. But my friend Matthew Bailey, who is a good friend of mine on YouTube, he has mentioned about it before in his review of Spirit Untamed. If you want to know what he thought of it, I will put in the link in the description below. And if Matthew Bailey is watching this, I did give you a shout out there, my friend. So I didn't know what to expect from the sequel, so I did rewatch the first one before I saw the sequel, and after watching the sequel, it was okay. It's definitely not as good as the first one, and I would say it's one of the DreamWorks' weakest films, but not incredibly weak, like say, oh, this is absolutely their worst since Shark Tale, which a lot of people, since I've rewatched Shark Tale since I was a kid, a lot of people complain that's the worst they've done, and I can see why. But I wouldn't say this film is as worse than that, though. This was just an okay movie, and I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5 out of 5. Now let's move on to this movie, The Boss Baby 2 Family Business. So this is the sequel to the first film that was released back in 2017, in which we'll talk about why I thought of the first film in a few minutes. But in this sequel to The Boss Baby, we see that Tim Templeton is now an adult, voiced by James Marsden, and he's married to his wife, voiced by Eva Longoria, and they have two daughters. Their oldest daughter basically wants to be sort of a singer, but she's not really that good at it, and Tim's trying to help her with all that, even though she's kind of growing up, and she doesn't want advice from him and all that. And Tim also has a baby daughter named Tina Templeton, who we find out his secret that she's actually part of the business known as Baby Corp, which Ted, who is Tim's baby brother, who was the boss baby in the first film, once again voiced by Alec Baldwin, but she's like him, but her voice in the movie is voiced by Amy Sedaris. And meanwhile, Ted comes to basically visit Tim and his family around for the holidays, and they're both not getting along with each other again until Tina asks for both their help to basically help her to stop this new villain, who's known as Dr. Erwin Armstrong, voiced by Jeff Goldblum, who is actually a baby in disguise as a human, in which his plan is that he wants to do something to the parents as well as the babies, to make babies turn into zombies and make them go bad. I guess that's what he wants to do. I I don't know, it's pretty much hard to describe, and it's pretty much confusing, really. But we see that Tim and Ted, they are forced to, you know, work together again, try to get along with each other again, and they also have to work together along with Tina to basically stop Dr. Owen Armstrong's evil plan from what he wants to do to the world. So that's pretty much the story of the Boss Baby 2 Family Business. So, before we get into what I think of the sequel, my experiences with the first film. The first film I do think is pretty decent. It's not one of DreamWorks' best films in a long time, since Shrek or How to Train Your Dragon movies, which those are the best. And personally, I think How to Train Your Dragon is my favorite trilogy of them all, when it comes to the series of DreamWorks animated films that we've had before. You know, all 4 Shrek films, 3 How to Train Your Dragons, and Kung Fu Pandas, and all that, blah 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 blah. Like I said, I think the first one's decent. It does have good animation though, but does have some issues with that. But there are a lot of flaws with that film, and I was surprised that this film was even nominated for an Oscar back in 2018, along with other animated films of that year that was nominated, like Ferdinand, Coco, and all that. And I'm not even joking, that really did happen. This movie got nominated for an Oscar along with Ferdinand and Coco. But luckily, that film didn't win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, because of course Coco won, which definitely deserved. But when I heard there was a sequel, I heard about the sequel kind of briefly in 2017 after the film was released, because, you know, I guess it was pretty much when the first film was a success at the box office. I didn't get a chance to see it in cinemas, but I did watch it around Christmas time when I got the Blu-ray. And like I said, I do think it's decent, but again, not DreamWorks' best, obviously. It's definitely one of their weakest ones, but not the absolute weakest, like, stinker, like Shark Tale. And when I saw the trailers for the sequel, I didn't know what to expect. I thought the sequel might have been decent again, or just okay, but I was surprised with the cast to it. And then you got, of course, Alec Baldwin coming back, you got James Marsden, Jeff Goldblum, Eva Longoria, Amy Sedaris, and all that. And I didn't even know when I was going to get it in the UK, because this movie was originally scheduled for March, but it got delayed a few times because of the pandemic. And so the movie was released in July in the US, but we didn't get it until October. And so I went to see it for free. And after seeing the sequel, this movie was also okay. It's definitely another okay DreamWorks film, along with Spirit Untamed. Yeah, I'd say this is definitely another weak animated film from DreamWorks Animation. But this one, I wouldn't say this is an absolute stinker or anything, because there was a few things I did like in the sequel. Like, the animation is pretty bright and colorful and pretty imaginative for a cartoon, as well as for a cartoony world, and for the character designs, which I liked as well, which I also liked in the first one as well. The animation for that was pretty good, but not like spectacularly amazing or anything. But the animation here is was pretty good as well. And the voice cast in the film were pretty solid from a big star cast. Alec Baldwin, which he comes back in this one as the Boss Baby, James Marsden, Eva Longoria, Amy Sedaris, and Jeff Goldblum. Everyone in the film gave pretty solid performances, and they were kind of entertaining enough for some of the characters. While there was a few characters I did kind of remember in this one, but not a whole lot of characters I couldn't remember that. There was a whole lot of other characters I couldn't remember that much in this movie. And in terms of issues I had with the sequel were the story. The story I kind of found a bit pretty much forgettable. Well, there was actually an aspect of the story that I did seem to like the relationship between Tim and his daughter, which I did like. It was pretty interesting, and I do tend to enjoy those kind of like aspects of a story between a relationship between a father or son, or father and daughter, and all that, which I like. But for the villain's storyline, I found it pretty much forgettable for like what he wants to do. Just like in the first one, I found the villain for that one be pretty much forgettable for what he wants to do. And the storyline between Tim and Ted in the film was kind of obvious, like what was going to happen. When we do see them like not bonding with each other, and then also we see like Tim gets treated like crap in the sequel from a few people, even Donkey as well. That was pretty obvious, and yeah, just overall the story was pretty much forgettable. And further complaints I had with the sequel was the runtime. I found it pretty much a bit too long. This is only an hour and 48 minutes, while the first one's an hour and 37 minutes. I wish the runtime for this film could have been a bit shortened, because there was a few scenes in the film that I kind of found a bit boring. Not like frustratingly boring. I just want to like pull my hair out and just want to go home or anything like that, because I was just waiting for something to happen. And for some of the jokes in the film, there was some, like, they gave me some chuckles, but there was a few I kind of found are obviously cliched, and there are some gross out jokes in the film. There's no fart jokes, there's no poop jokes or anything like that. There's spit jokes in this, which I kind of found that to be awkward, but again, cliched. But in the end, though, this sequel, I wouldn't say the sequel is terrible. It's an okay sequel along with Spirit Untamed, and kids would definitely enjoy it, because when I went back to work, I felt like a lot of kids who were seeing the movie, and they did seem to tend to enjoy it more than me, because again, I just had an okay time with it. But if you missed your chance to see both of these in cinemas, you can either rent these films on the app of your choice, or just go ahead and buy the film on your physical media of your choice for your collection. So that's pretty much all I have to say about these sequels overall, other than these were just okay movies. And also, I'm going to give this movie the exact same rating to Spirit Untamed. I'm also going to give this sequel a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, these were just okay. They're not the absolute abomination of DreamWorks animation. Kids would definitely enjoy them. For me, they will just maybe be just these. If I would have to rewatch these again, I would just only have to rewatch them. I would watch them once, not over and over again, but just once. So that's all I have to say about these sequels. But thank you guys so much for watching for both my reviews on Spirit Untamed and The Boss Baby 2 Family Business. Let me know what you think of these sequels if you did see this already. For Spirit Untamed, did you have a good time with it, or did you not appreciate this one? And also for Boss Baby 2, did you had a really good time with it, or was this not your popcorn treat? So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews, and as always, this has been Fallen's Media Corner signing off.